In the summer of 1987, the small mining town of Copper Falls, Nevada, became the center of one of America's most disturbing mysteries. Sheriff Tom Brady had seen strange things in his 20 years of law enforcement, but nothing prepared him for what he discovered that scorching Tuesday morning. He drove his patrol car down Main Street, coffee in hand, ready for another quiet day. The silence hit him first. No children playing, no cars passing, no doors opening. He parked outside Miller's General Store, the heart of town where everyone gathered for morning gossip and fresh bread. The door stood ajar. Tom called out. Nothing. He stepped inside. The cash register was open. Bills still inside. A half-eaten sandwich sat on the counter, flies buzzing around it. The bread oven was still warm. Tom's heart began to race. He radioed dispatch. No answer. He tried again. Static. He walked back outside and looked down the street. Every building was the same. Doors open. Cars parked. Laundry hanging on lines. But no people. Not one single person. He drove to the elementary school. Backpacks scattered across the playground. A swing moved gently in the hot breeze. Inside, the classrooms were frozen in time. Books open on desks. Pencils mid-sentence. A chalkboard with half-written math problems. The teacher's purse still hanging on her chair. Tom felt sweat drip down his back that had nothing to do with the heat. He checked the hospital. Empty beds, still made. The fire station. Trucks parked. Doors open. The diner, food rotting on plates. Everywhere the same scene. Lives interrupted mid-moment, as if everyone had simply vanished into thin air. He drove to his own house on Elm Street. His wife Margaret should be home. Their daughter Sarah, too. The front door was unlocked. He pushed it open slowly. Margaret's coffee cup sat on the kitchen table, still half full. Her reading glasses next to the morning newspaper, open to the crossword puzzle she never finished. Sarah's cereal bowl in the sink, milk still pooled at the bottom. The television in the living room played to an empty room. A game show host asking questions no one would answer. Tom sank into a chair, his mind racing. Where was everyone? How could an entire town disappear? He grabbed the phone. Dead. He tried the neighbors. Every house, the same. Abandoned mid-morning, as if the entire population had been plucked away by an invisible hand. He drove to the edge of town, past the old mining tunnels that had been closed for decades. The road stretched into the desert, shimmering with heat. No Tita tracks. No footprints. No signs of mass exodus. People did not just walk away from their lives. They did not leave everything behind. Their money, their belongings, their loved ones. Tom returned to his patrol car and tried the radio again. This time, a crackle. Then a voice. Faint, distorted. He pressed the receiver to his ear. The voice was not from dispatch. It was not from anyone he knew. It whispered words he could not quite understand. Words that made his skin crawl. Then, silence. Tom Brady sat in his car in the middle of an empty town, surrounded by the ghosts of lives interrupted, and realized he might be the only person left in Copper Falls. But the real question was not where everyone had gone. The real question was whether they had left voluntarily, or if something had taken them. And if something had taken them, was it coming back for him? The sun beat down on the abandoned streets. A door slammed somewhere in the distance. Tom gripped his gun and stepped out of the car. He was going to find answers. He had to. Because Copper Falls was not the first town to disappear, and unless he discovered the truth, it would not be the last. Tom Brady spent the next 2 hours documenting everything he could find. He grabbed his Polaroid camera from the trunk and photographed each location. Empty homes, abandoned cars, the frozen moments of ordinary life. He needed proof. He needed evidence that this nightmare was real. By noon, he had covered most of the residential area. The heat was unbearable now, pushing past 100 degrees. He stopped at the town library, hoping to find some clue, some record that might explain what happened. The cool air inside was a relief. Books lay scattered across tables. The librarian's desk was neat except for a half-written letter. Tom picked it up carefully. The handwriting was shaky, urgent. It read, "If anyone finds this, we heard them again last night. The sounds from the old mines. Everyone is terrified, but nobody will talk about it openly. The mayor says we are imagining things, but I know what I heard. It was not wind. It was not animals. It was something else. Something calling to us." The letter ended abruptly. Tom folded it and put it in his pocket. The mines. People had whispered about them for years. Strange noises. Odd. Lights. Workers who went down and came back different. Quieter. Haunted. The company had shut them down in 1952 after a collapse killed 17 men. Since then, they had been sealed, forgotten. Tom left the library and drove toward the northern edge of town, where the mine entrances sat like dark mouths in the hillside. The road was rough, barely maintained. As he got closer, he noticed something odd. Fresh tire tracks. Recent ones. Someone had been here within the last day or two. He parked and walked toward the main entrance. The heavy chains that once secured the wooden boards across the opening were broken, lying in the dirt. The boards themselves had been pulled aside. Tom shined his flashlight into the darkness beyond. The tunnel descended steeply, disappearing into blackness. A sound echoed from deep within. Faint, rhythmic, almost like breathing. Tom's hand moved to his gun. Every instinct told him not to go inside, but he had no choice. If the answer to Copperfall's disappearance was down there, he had to find it. He took 3 steps into the tunnel when his radio crackled to life. A voice, clear this time, speaking in urgent tones. "Sheriff Brady, do you copy? This is Agent Sarah Chun from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We've been trying to reach you for 6 hours. Please respond immediately." Tom grabbed his radio. "This is Brady. Who are you? How did you know to contact me?" "Sheriff, we need you to evacuate Copper Falls immediately. Do not investigate further. Do not enter any structures that appear abandoned. And whatever you do not go near the mines. We have a team en route. ETA 30 minutes. Please confirm you understand." Tom felt anger rise in his chest. Evacuate. There is nobody left to evacuate. The entire town is gone. Everyone. My wife, my daughter. Everyone. Where are they? Silence on the other end. Then, "Sheriff, what do you mean everyone is gone?" "I mean the whole town disappeared. Over 2,000 people vanished. I have been here since 8 this morning and I have not found a single person. What do you know about this? What is happening?" Another pause. Another pause. Tom could hear muffled voices in the background, people talking urgently. Finally, Agent Chun spoke again. "Sheriff Brady, Copper Falls is the 7th location in 3 months. We have been tracking a pattern. Small towns, remote locations, entire populations disappearing without warning. We believe it is connected to old mining operations, specifically those that dug deeper than standard safety protocols allowed." Tom's blood ran cold. 7 towns. How is this not national news? How is nobody talking about this? Because we have been keeping it quiet while we investigate. The panic would be catastrophic. We do not have answers yet, only theories. But Sheriff, you need to listen carefully. In the previous 6 locations, anyone who remained behind after the initial disappearance also vanished within 72 hours. You are in extreme danger. Tom looked back at the mine entrance. The breathing sound continued, steady and deep. What is down there? What took them? We do not know for certain. Our scientists have theories. Something geological, something that was disturbed by the mining. But Sheriff, the pattern is clear. Once it starts, it does not stop until everyone is gone. You need to leave now. Tom thought of Margaret, of Sarah, of the 2,000 people who had simply ceased to exist while living their normal lives. I am not leaving without answers. If there is something in these mines, I am going to find it. Sheriff, that is exactly what the others did. The ones who stayed behind. They all went into the mines. None of them came back out. Tom clicked off his radio and stepped deeper into the tunnel. The darkness swallowed him whole. No tunnel walls were rough-hewn rock, cold and damped. Despite the desert heat above, Tom's flashlight cut through the darkness, catching rotted support beams and the faint outline of old minecart rails. Water dripped somewhere ahead, each drop echoing like a countdown. After 200 feet, he saw markings on the walls. Not mining symbols. Fresh scratches made in panic, words carved with fingernails. They are calling cannot recede. Deeper. Always deeper. His radio crackled. Agent Chun. Sheriff Brady, do not enter the mine. Our team is 10 minutes out. Tom ignored it. The breathing sound ahead grew louder. Not one breath, but many layered together, pulsing faintly through the rock. The tunnel sloped downward, forcing Tom to brace himself as he moved. Another 100 feet, and the passage opened into a chamber nearly 50 feet across. Multiple tunnels branched from it, but the center held something that froze him. A mound of belongings. Wallets, purses, keys, shoes, rings, watches arranged neatly as if collected with intention. Margaret's red purse. Sarah's unicorn backpack. The coffee cup he'd given his wife last Christmas. They had been here. All of them. Tom approached, hand trembling, when footsteps echoed behind him. He spun with his gun raised. A man stepped into the light. Middle-aged. Pajamas. Vacant eyes. John Patterson walked past him, unseeing. Tom grabbed his arm. John, stop. Where is everyone? Patterson slowly turned. His voice was flat. We heard the call. We had to go deeper. It showed us what we were meant to be. The town above was a cage. Down here, we are free. Free! Tom snapped. You are in a mine shaft. Where are the others? Where is my family? Patterson smiled, an expression wrong in every way. They are waiting. Soon you will hear it too. The song beneath the world. The miners found it in 1951. You cannot bury what exists in every stone. It is awake again. Tom felt cold spread through him. What song? Patterson tilted his head. Listen. Tom did. Beneath the dripping water, beneath the air itself, came a vibration. A hum so low it resonated in his bones. Images hit him in flashes. Something immense, ancient, sleeping under the desert. No, Tom whispered. Gas pockets. A hallucination. Patterson shook his head. You already hear it. First, you hear. Then you understand, tend to obey. Everyone obeys eventually. Even you, Sheriff. Tom raised his gun. Take him at them now. Patterson turned and walked down the deepest tunnel. Tom followed. The passage narrowed until he had to crouch. The hum grew stronger, drilling into his skull. Images flooded his mind. Copper falls from angles that should not exist. The town has vibrations and energy patterns that could be reshaped. The tunnel opened into another chamber. The walls here were smooth, almost polished, and covering them were people. Not dead, not alive. Embedded in the stone itself, faces buddies, half merged with the rock. His neighbors, the mailman, the principal, and near the far wall, Margaret and Sarah. Their bodies sinking slowly into the stone, eyes closed and peaceful. Tom screamed and ran. He grabbed Margaret's hand. It was warm but unmoving, fused to the rock. Her eyes opened softly. Tom, you came. It is beautiful here. We are all connected. No fear. No pain. Just unity. Join us. Tom pulled, voice breaking. This is not real. Fight it. It is me, Tom. More me than ever. The frequency makes us whole. Stop fighting. Listen to the song. The hum swelled until it drowned everything. Tom's vision blurred. His grip on reality slipped. Tom staggered backward, his flashlight falling from his hand and clattering on the stone floor. The beam rolled, casting wild shadows across the chamber of absorbed bodies. He pressed his palms against his temples, trying to block out the relentless hum that seemed to be rewriting his thoughts from the inside out. Through the pain, he heard new voices, shouting, footsteps echoing down the tunnels. Then bright lights, much stronger than his flashlight, flooded the chamber. A team of people in hazmat suits rushed in, equipment in hand. One of them, a woman, pulled off her helmet. Asian features, sharp eyes. Agent Chun. "Get him out of here now," she ordered. Two team members grabbed Tom under his arms and dragged him back toward the entrance tunnel. He fought weakly, reaching toward Margaret and Sarah. "My family, I cannot leave them. Please, Sheriff, there is nothing you can do for them right now. If you stay here another 5 minutes, you will end up just like them. Move." They hauled him through the tunnels, up the steep incline, back toward daylight. The further they got from the deep chamber, the more the hum faded. By the time they emerged into the blazing afternoon sun, Tom could think clearly again. He collapsed on the ground, gasping, his whole body shaking. Agent Chun knelt beside him, offering water. "Drink. Slowly. You are exposed for at least 15 minutes. You are lucky you are not catatonic." Tom drank, then grabbed her arm. "What is that thing? What is it doing to them?" Chun looked back at the mine entrance, where her team was setting up equipment. "We call it the resonance. Best we can tell, it is a naturally occurring phenomenon. Something deep in the Earth's crust, a frequency pattern that interacts with human neural tissue. The old miners dug too deep in certain locations and hit pockets where the resonance is strongest. It affects the brain, specifically the parts that govern individual identity and survival instinct. It is absorbing them, turning them into stone. Not exactly. The bodies are still alive, still functioning on a biological level, but consciousness, individual thought, it all gets subsumed into a collective state. They experience it as unity, as transcendence. They lose all desire to remain separate beings. The physical merging with the rock comes later, as the resonance restructures matter at a molecular level. We do not fully understand the mechanism yet. Tom felt. Seek, how long have you known about this? The first case we documented was 3 months ago. A town in Montana called Silver Ridge. Population 1,200. Gone overnight. We found them in the mines. Who's like tease. We have been tracking it since, trying to understand it, trying to stop it. But Sheriff, here is what terrifies us. It is spreading. Each event is larger than the last. Silver Ridge was 1,200 people. Copper Falls is nearly 3,000. The frequency is getting stronger, reaching further. If we cannot contain it, if it continues to grow in power and range, we could be looking at an extinction-level phenomenon. Can you reverse it? Can you bring them back? Chun's expression answered before her words did. We have tried everything. Electromagnetic interference, harmonic cancellation, surgical extraction. Nothing works. Once someone is fully integrated, they are gone. The person you knew does not exist anymore. They are part of the collective now. I am sorry, Sheriff. Tom stared at the ground, unable to process the magnitude of what she was saying. His wife, his daughter, everyone he had ever known in this town. Gone. Not dead, but something worse. Transformed into components of an alien intelligence that existed in rock and vibration. Why did it take everyone but me? He asked quietly. We think it started during the night. The resonance is stronger when people are sleeping, when their conscious defenses are down. It projects the call through the ground, through the bedrock beneath the town. People hear it in their dreams. They wake up, compelled to go to the source. You were likely on patrol, in your car, insulated from the ground. By the time you returned, everyone else was already gone. Tom remembered that night. He had been doing his rounds on the highway outside town, checking for speeders. He had not returned home until almost 7 in the morning. If he had been sleeping in his bed like everyone else, he would be in that chamber right now, merged with the stone, lost in the collective dream. What happens now? he asked. Chun stood up looking toward her team. We seal this mine permanently. We have developed a concrete composite mixed with harmonic damp. It will not stop the resonance, but it will contain it. Keep it from reaching the surface. Then we evacuate the area, establish a quarantine zone, and pray it does not find another way out. And the people inside, they stay. We have no other option. Attempting to extract them would kill them, and it would expose more people to the resonance. This is the kindest solution we have. Tom felt rage building in his chest. Kindest, you are going to bury them alive. They are already buried, Sheriff. They chose to be. The resonance does not force anyone. It calls, it offers, and people accept. They go willingly because it promises something we all secretly want. An end to loneliness. An end to struggle. Perfect unity with something greater than ourselves. It is the ultimate temptation, and humans are too weak to resist it. I resisted it. Did you? Or were you just interrupted before you could surrender? If we had arrived 10 minutes later, would you still be standing here arguing with me? Or would you be in that chamber with your hand pressed against the stone, begging to join them? Tom had no answer. He remembered the pull, the seductive peace in Margaret's voice, the promise of connection. Part of him, even now, wanted to go back down, wanted to stop fighting and accept the unity that waited in the dark. Chun saw the look in his eyes. That is what I thought. The exposure stays with you. For the rest of your life, you will hear echoes of it. You will dream about that chamber. You will feel the call. It fades, but never fully goes away. That is your burden now. The knowledge of what waits beneath our feet, and the constant temptation to return to it. A member of Chun's team jogged over. Agent, we have a problem. The resonance signature is spiking. Whatever it is doing down there, it knows we are here. The ground beneath their feet began to vibrate. Subtle at first, then stronger, like a massive engine starting up deep below. Equipment on the trucks rattled. Dust rose from the earth in small clouds. The team members in hazmat suits stumbled, grabbing onto each other for balance. Agent Shun pulled out a handheld device covered in blinking lights and dials. Her face went pale as she read the display. The frequency is increasing exponentially. It has never done this before. Shara, when you were down there, did you touch anything? Did you interact with any of the absorbed individuals? Tom thought back. I grabbed my wife's hand. I tried to pull her free. That is it. You created a bridge. A connection between someone outside the collective and someone inside. It knows about us now. It knows we are trying to seal it in. The vibration intensified. Cracks appeared in the ground around the mine entrance, spiderwebbing outward. One of the team members shouted, "The tunnel is collapsing. We need to move back. Now." But the collapse was not random. Tom watched in horror as the cracks formed a pattern, spreading outward in perfect geometric shapes. Circles within circles. The ground was not breaking apart. It was being reshaped. From the mine entrance, a sound emerged. Not the low hum from before. This was different. Louder. Musical. Like 1,000 voices singing in harmony, creating chords that should not exist in nature. The hazmat team members closest to the entrance dropped their equipment and pulled off their helmets, their faces going slack. "No!" Chun shouted into her radio. "All personnel fall back. Do not listen, cover your ears, use the dampeners." But it was too late for 3 of her team. They walked toward the mine entrance, their movements synchronized, their lips moving as if singing along with the impossible chorus. Chun tried to grab one of them, a young man with red hair, but he pushed past her with surprising strength. "Let him go!" Another agent yelled, pulling Chun back. "We cannot save them now." The 3 team members disappeared into the mine. The singing grew louder, more complex, adding layers and harmonics that made Tom's head split with pain. He fell to his knees, hands pressed over his ears. But the sound came from inside as much as outside. It was in his blood, in his bones, vibrating through every cell. Through the agony, he heard Chun screaming orders. Felton's, dragging him toward the trucks. The engines roared to life. They were retreating, leaving the mine behind. Tom forced his eyes open and looked back. The ground around the mine was rising, not collapsing inward but bulging upward, as if something massive was pushing up from below. The rock itself seemed to flow like liquid, forming shapes, pillars, archways. A structure emerging from the earth itself, built by the resonance, built by the collective will of nearly 3,000 minds working as one. The trucks raced down the dirt road away from the site. Tom watched through the rear window as the structure continued to grow. It was beautiful and terrible, a cathedral of stone, pulsing with light from within, radiating the call outward in waves he could feel even at this distance. Chun sat across from him, hair face green. She was talking into a satellite phone. This is Chun. Copper Falls is a level 5 event. The entity is physically manifesting. We need an immediate quarantine of the entire region. Radius of 50 miles minimum, and contact north. We need to discuss containment options. She listened for a moment, then her expression darkened. I understand the implications. Yes, I know what I am suggesting, but if this spreads to a populated area, to a city, we will lose millions. Do it. She hung up and met Tom's eyes. They are going to sterilize the site. In 6 hours, this entire area will cease to exist. Tom felt numb. You mean bombs? You are going to drop bombs on my town. Thermobaric weapons. They will superheat the rock, hopefully disrupt the frequency patterns enough to kill the resonance. It is the only option we have left. My wife and daughter are down there. Your wife and daughter are already gone. Sheriff, what is down there now is something else wearing their shapes. You have to understand that. You have to let them go. Tom looked out the window at the receding structure. Even from miles away now, he could see it continuing to grow, reaching toward the sky like grasping fingers. And he could still hear the singing, fainter but persistent, calling him home. What if the bombs do not work? He asked. Chun did not answer right away. When she did, her voice was barely a whisper. Then we evacuate the surrounding states and hope the resonance stops spreading before it reaches a critical population density. Our models suggest if it reaches 10 million people, it will achieve global saturation within weeks. At that point, humanity as we know it ends. We all become part of the chorus, all absorbed into the collective, individual consciousness extinct. Tom leaned his head back against the truck wall. 6 O's. In 6 hours, Copper Falls would be erased from the map. Every home, every memory, every trace that his life here had ever existed, buried under fire and melted rock. But even as he grieved, part of him envied them. The ones in the chamber. They were not afraid. They were not suffering. They had found the peace that every human secretly craved. Unity, belonging. An end to the terrible isolation of being a separate self in an indifferent universe. The truck hit a bump, jarring him back to reality. Chun was watching him carefully. You are thinking about it, and not you, about going back. Tom did not deny it. Can you honestly tell me you have never been tempted, that you have never wanted to stop carrying the weight of being you? Every single day, Chun admitted. I have been investigating this for 3 months. Sheriff, I have seen 6 towns fall. I have lost 80 team members. And yes, there are nights when I lie awake and think about how easy it would be to just walk into one of those mines and let go. But I do not. Do you know why? Because someone has to remember. Someone has to bear witness. If we all surrender, if we all merge into the collective, then humanity never really existed at all. We become a footnote. A failed experiment. I refuse to let that happen.
The convoy reached the military perimeter 40 minutes later. Helicopters circled above. Armored vehicles blocked the highway, and soldiers stood at checkpoints every 100 yards. This wasn't containment anymore. It was preparation for war. Chen led Tom into a command trailer where generals and scientists studied satellite feeds of Copper Falls. The stone structure had stopped growing, now towering over 300 feet, its shifting patterns visible even through the screens. A grey-haired general turned Agent Chen. The frequency is spreading. People in nearby towns are hearing the call. 200 confirmed cases in the last hour. They're walking toward Copper Falls on foot. We can't stop them all. Chen tensed. How long until the strike? 4 hours. But politicians want answers. The media knows about the evacuation, and if word gets out, we plan to drop bombs on American soil. There will be riots, a scientist added. The frequency is adapting. It's learning. Anyone within 30 miles who falls asleep becomes susceptible. By tomorrow, it could reach Las Vegas. The general slammed the table. Then we move the strike up. We go now. Tom felt the world tilt. They were going to erase Copper Falls. Everyone inside it. Everyone walking toward it. He stepped forward. Wait, what if there's another option? Chen whispered. Sheriff, no. Tom continued. Has anyone tried communicating with it? You say it's not sentient, but it has almost 3,000 minds integrated into it. My wife and daughter are still alive down there. What if they can be reached? The general scoffed, but Tom pushed on. Give me 2 hours. If I fail, launch your strike. But if there's even a chance of saving them, you owe it to those people. Chen studied him. You just want to see your family again. Maybe, but I felt the resonance. That makes me the only person who might reach it. Silence. Finally, the general nodded. 90 minutes. And Sheriff, you're not coming back. I understand they equipped him with cameras and a beacon. Chen walked him to the helicopter. The resonance will show you what you want most. Don't believe it. It isn't them anymore. What if it is? Tom asked. What if it's a better way of existing? Then we're wrong together, she said. As humans, the helicopter carried Tom toward Copper Falls as the sun bled red across the sky. Below, long lines of people walked toward the mine, drawn by the call. The pilot dropped him a quarter-mile from the structure. Tom walked alone toward the entrance. The singing was overwhelming now, beautiful and layered with voices he knew. Margaret, Sarah, Patterson. Inside, the glowing walls guided him downward. He activated his radio. Sheriff Tom Brady entering the central chamber. If anyone is still individual, please respond. The singing stopped. Then Margaret's voice came, woven with countless others. Tom, we have been waiting. We are complete now. Join us. Become part of something eternal. Tom stepped into the chamber of bodies, fused with stone, the walls pulsing like a heartbeat. What do you want? We do not want. We are unity. Humanity has always sought connection. We are the fulfillment of that desire. You're taking away choice, Tom argued, erasing individuality. Individuals are illusions, the voice answered. Join us, end the suffering of separation. Tom's eyes filled with tears. Margaret, Sarah, if you're in there, fight, please. We are not trapped, Tom. We are free. This is not death. This is birth. The world above will fall to chaos. Why suffer alone when you can be part of forever? Tom looked at their peaceful faces. The call pressed into his mind, soft and warm. He was so tired, so alone. His hand touched the stone. Margaret's face waited beneath the surface. He could join her, become whole. The merging began. It felt like coming home. Then Chun's voice broke through the radio. 30 seconds, Sheriff. Please respond. 30 seconds until the bombs fell. 30 seconds to choose unity or die as himself. Tom closed his eyes, hand still on the stone, and spoke his final words. I am human. Then the fire came. Copper Falls vanished in an instant, taking its terrible gift into oblivion. Some mysteries Tom understood in his last moment were meant to stay buried, and some choices define what it means to be human. The singing stopped. The frequency died, and in the silence that followed, humanity remained separate, alone but free.